Nothing is what it seems. Nothing. Sometimes for years of our lives, we think something is the way it was, but it's not. When we discover that it's actually not the way we thought it was, it's something completely different. I've had experiences come up quite regularly, especially recently, where my preconceived notions of something were challenged. And it's only because I am now only really asking more pertinent and more valuable questions. Up until now, I haven't really been asking what is truly the valuable questions, right? I've always asked what I assumed were the questions, but as we grow, we start to realize there are actually more pertinent questions. I met with one of my team members today, and I asked her some very valuable questions about how she perceives life. And what I was intrigued by was that a lot of illuminations happened. I started to see things from her perspective a little bit better as well. But isn't it amazing how we can work with someone for years and years and years and not really truly understand what it is that they believe? I always say be very open-minded about who you meet, who you talk to, who you speak with, but always bear them in mind that there is a truth, there is a way to life, and there is really no other way to life. When people are on the right path, it's fine. When they're not on the right path, it's a bit more tricky. We all want to live a life where we don't want to ruffle feathers, we don't want to stir things, we don't want to break a friendship or a bond, but we really need to let people know that they may be on a path that may hurt them. Very, very important. I had some friends that I was speaking with over lunch some months ago, and they were truly off the rails. They were not on the right path. Now, these are not people that I meet with regularly. They are just sort of family friends that I've known for a very long time. But over the years, I've changed. I've become a different person. But I've also realized they've become a different person, but they're not on the right path. They're not on the right track. And that track can be very, very, very destructive if they aren't paying attention. I keep saying this, all the time, and that is that we need to not think about what it is that we believe, but what does the Bible actually say? What does the Holy Scriptures actually say about that subject? We need to test and reason our thinking by what that unit of measure, that golden standard the Bible tells us. Nothing else really is telling us the truth. We need to check what we think it says by what it actually says. I learned this in law school. One of the things that came up right at the very beginning of studying law was it's not what you think, it's not what you believe, it's not what you perceive or what your reasoning is. It's what the law says. What does the law actually say? Right? And I approached the Bible from that perspective. It wasn't what I was thinking. It wasn't my opinion. It wasn't my reasoning or my standard of morality or my standard of understanding what the world was supposed to be like. It was, what does this book say? What does it say? And I started to realize these were very different things to what I believed. I've, as you know, over the last year or two, been doing these recordings where I have discovered things that I never imagined were actually what the Bible says. I always used to think, well, I'm sure that's what God means, right? God says that, everybody's going to be saved as long as they're good people. That's not true. That isn't what the Bible is saying at all. We're a peculiar people, and there's a peculiar requirement to enter into heaven. It's a very peculiar requirement. We're called the peculiar people, right? So we begin to realize that it's only because of that peculiarity that we are saved, not because of, some aberrant or arbitrary definition of goodness or how good we are or what we believe. None of those things get you to visit heaven. None of those things get you to be a high priest in the millennial kingdom. None of those things make a difference. It really is what the Bible is telling us. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to question the things you believe every day by what is in that book, what's recorded in the Holy Scriptures, the Holy Bible.